This episode is brought to you by Choircast because every tribe needs a sponsor that gets plot twists, emotional breakdowns, and redemption arcs. They're like the peanut butter and wine reward of podcast networks. Unexpected, a little bougie, and exactly what you didn't know you needed. Thank you, Choircast, for keeping us fed, hydrated, and just unhinged enough to keep telling these wild stories.
Hello and welcome back to a brand new episode of Beyond the Torch. I'm Todd Herzog here with Leslie Nease, and we have a guest today that we are so excited to talk to and dig into and find out more about from Tocantins, one of the fans' all-time favorite seasons.
Such a good season, yeah.
Debbie, welcome.
I'm excited to be here.
You're so glad to have you.
I'm so excited to be here and talk about Tocantins and what's going on and what you guys are up to it's so much fun to follow behind the scenes. I'm kind of the background watcher, I'm not really out there in everybody's face most of the time, but
That's why we're so excited to have you though, because we need to know more.
We want to know.
I'm terrible with technology. Let's start there. And it's funny. I was thinking about this and coming on, and Survivor is like, my husband, it might hurt his feelings, but kind of my number one love. Because it saved my life and changed me, and we'll get into that more later. But I've never been the one to kind of be out there and put myself out there, and I'm a little bit more reserved, but kind of in the game too, because it's funny. It's been 15 years for me now, and I'm still getting asked to do things, and I'm like, wow, how do they remember me? I got
love
stopped in the airport the other day, and they're like, "Are you Debbie Beebe?" And I was like, first of all, I looked like straight hell on the show, and I thought I was looking decent that day. But
You looked good on the
years
show.
later, our fans are amazing.
Okay, Debbie, wait. I thought you were really hot on the show. I don't know.
Like, let's
I would
be
like,
real.
yeah, that's a good looking mom stereotype right there. Yeah, she's hot. I loved it.
You guys,
Absolutely.
they called me Merhag. Like,
they did.
my name was Merhag. But and I loved it. But this was back when Survivor sucks, and I would kind of go in and watch a little. But in the opening intro, I'm like diving out of the water, and I do look probably 96. And they're like, someone started calling me Merhag. I even bought Merhag t-shirts. I embraced it. I'm like, I got this.
I love that.
Merhag. So, but thank you for
embrace
saying that, Leslie, because I watched it and I even went back and watched my season recently for the first time. And I was like cringing, and I'm like, go, Debbie, you've got this race. My husband had never really watched it because we met after watching, but thank you for saying that, because I was very cringing at some of my.
Well, we love to kick off our podcast with this little segment we do called The Fans Have Spoken, because not only has the show changed those of us who played its lives, but it really is making an impact on so many people's lives, and we want to give them an opportunity to celebrate that. So let's hear from Matt today. What do you think, guys? Sound good?
Hello, Leslie and Todd. My name is Matt Scott. I want to talk about how Survivor's touched and really changed my life. For so long, going back to when I became a fan, watching Survivor Cook Islands, like, I did not know that there was a Survivor community. And it's so interesting because up until about 4 or 5 years ago, I hadn't really fully met and deeply connected with people around the show. I was more likely to meet people who would say, like, is that show still on? Than I was to meet people who loved it as much as I did. And it was playing a live reality game, Survivor Philadelphia, that brought me into the fold of meeting fans and then also becoming a podcaster on Rob is a Podcast with shows like Pod Friends and The Pride Has Spoken, which Todd has been on, that really exposed me to so many people. As a Black person, queer person, I didn't know that the Survivor community was for us. And I'm so thankful that with the new era and the great diversity of players and stories that, like, I really feel represented and connected and seen within the Survivor community today. I've not only checked people virtually, but fans in events in Toronto and New York and Philly, LA, Chicago, Texas, DC, all over the place. I'm so grateful for the people that Survivors brought into my life, and it's been amazing.
Aw,
I love that.
I just got chills again. I do it
I do
every
too.
I
time.
know it
I
gives
do
me
too.
goosebumps because it's and you don't realize really how we're out there playing and in ourselves, but how it really does touch so many people.
It's crazy, isn't it? Like just the idea that these people, and we don't, like you said, we don't realize that it's meaning something to them, but somebody out there can relate to someone on the show.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
just, it's incredible.
Well, one
Yeah.
of the reasons I think that happens, guys, and maybe, I mean, tell me what you think of this theory that I'm just pulling out of my ass right now. But I do think it's because we are at our most vulnerable when we're out
Yes.
there. We have nothing. We have, even, and it's weird. I tell people like the hardest part when I went on there, I was on Christian radio. I was well respected. I had a reputation. I get on Survivor and they're like, I don't know who you are. No, like you don't even have your identity. You're
Right.
literally having to recreate yourself out there and try to stay true to who you've created yourself to be in real life. And it is so vulnerable. Does that
Yes.
ring with you too?
100%.
Absolutely. Because
And-
you're also dealing with the elements and lack of food and paranoia, and not trusting people. And so you have to go through all of the emotions and all of the craziness, and it comes out,
Yeah.
Oh,
Mhm.
absolutely. And it's funny because one of the things that I had is I had like this burlap sack that we brought beans in, and it was missing. And I was like freaking out that I'd lost that burlap sack that I wanted so badly. Now, in my real life, would I ever thought of a burlap sack? Absolutely not. But what was interesting to me is I processed that too as I went back. I was a middle school principal when I
Wonderful.
filmed, and I had children that had nothing, holes in the floors, were living in extreme poverty. And all of a sudden it hit me. I now know what it's like when they lose a pencil. And we're like, here's another one. But it's when it's your only possession and something that you have. It truly gave me a new perspective on when people have nothing and they lose something that to us would seem kind of irrelevant. Here's another. It's a
very
big deal.
interesting.
Yeah.
And I lost that burlap bag. I was sick about it. I wore it around like a cape, and all of a sudden it was gone. I don't know if someone stole it or what happened to my dang burlap bag, but I loved that burlap bag. But
You need to
but
find out what happened to the burlap bag.
I would have killed somebody for a burlap bag. I was so
Right.
cold at night.
Oh, and bugs and
Yeah.
yes,
Oh.
but it's funny how when you are cut down to having nothing, and you're not brushing your teeth, you're not plucking the hairs, you are at your most vulnerable, and then you get to see yourself each week looking
Yes.
worse.
And you don't
Did
have a
you-
mirror. You don't know what you're looking like. And
Did
you
you get a
feel
booger
fine.
buddy? You guys had a booger buddy, right? Somebody who would tell you if you had a booger or
Yes.
a hair. Okay. Yeah. Me and Courtney were booger buddies for sure.
So we didn't call it booger buddies, but someone would usually come up and pick stuff. I
Yeah.
remember one time I had like dirt coming out of my nose. And I don't know if it was Coach or Aaron, but someone's like,
You
shit
good?
coming out of your nose. But of course, camera crew isn't going to tell you that. There's no mirror.
Right?
We have no idea what we look like.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there was one cute little producer that had braids in her hair. If you notice in the end of my season, I'm wearing braids. It's because this producer had little braids, and I'm not naturally blonde, and I had this brown streak about down in here, so I was trying to hide it with that head, and some tree male headband. And anyway, yeah.
I
That's so
love,
funny.
but do you know what? It's interesting because I never thought of it like that, Debbie, where you were saying, you didn't realize what you had until it was gone, because you're right. Like we live a life where it's like, oh, I lost this little thing, and we don't think twice about it. But, when you have absolutely nothing, everything means something.
Everything means something, and it just brings it to light. And I wrote articles on this in the middle school journal and such, is I now know what it's like when a child came to school hungry, like not missing a meal, missing several meals. And then we ask them to perform. Here's a math problem, which oddly enough, I really screwed up math problem on my season. But, it's funny. We expect people to behave in a certain way when they don't have basic needs met.
Yeah.
And that's in school, that's in society. And that definitely is in Survivor. And I got nasty at one point with Sierra, who I love deeply. And I got a lot of backlash for it. You're a principal, you're this. And I'm like, okay, we're starving, we're not sleeping, we're terrified that people are going to get us. There's pumas and jaguars walking around here at night. Yeah, I'm being a bitch. Yeah.
100% yes.
No
I'm angry.
apologies.
I'm angry.
Well, at least you could do that. So, okay, let's talk about your journey to Survivor, like before
Yes.
the torch. What got you to audition? Did you just do it once or several times? What was that like?
So it's an interesting story. I applied for Africa. Okay.
Oh, wow.
And I got all the way to Chicago. But I was under a different last name. I was married to a different person at that time. And my name was Deborah Sema. Well, I didn't end up making the end cut. I was told that, that season they had lost a ton of weight, hair, and, the season before Africa. So
Yes.
they were in Australia, maybe. I think.
Australia.
Yes.
Yeah.
Out there.
Yeah. And so, and I'm a small person. I mean, like 5 to 100 pounds. So I'm a small person to start with. So with that said, I didn't make it. And then right before Tocantins, I get a call in my office. And she's like, hi, I'm Emily Sweet with casting. And at that point, I was bringing a dog to school every day to read with children with disabilities. They loved my little dog. And I knew there was a dog show out there. And I'm like, oh, the dog show. And then she said Survivor. I mean, it still gives me goosebumps because I was like, and I had a different last name. It was Beebe. And I said, oh my God. She goes, we'd like to talk to you about being on the show.
Amazing.
So I was like, was it from my previous audition? She's like, no. So there was a couple things. I did a lot of large group. I was principal of the year for the state of Alabama. So I was doing some large group speaking engagements. I don't know if it came from there. I heard possibly one of Lynn's colleagues or sister was in one of my audiences because I am kind of a clown. And then I also heard that somebody called. I was living in Auburn, Alabama at the time. Called the university and was speaking to someone. And they're like, "Oh my God, you have to meet our middle school principal here." So there's one of those ways. I did put in the video. I did, went through all the process. And then spent the week in LA. And I had Tyson and Coach with me at that point.
Awesome.
Now,
That's such a legendary season. Can we just
It
talk
really
about
is.
that for a
they were
second?
we were an alliance. Those three were my
Yeah.
Yeah,
we're still-
legends.
It really is incredible, that cast, like Tyson and Coach,
I mean, honestly, if it wouldn't have been for Tyson, I don't know how far it'd make. He kept us laughing. Like he and I loved him. And I mean, honestly, I think about somebody on our cast every day. I have to say, we had a group, we knew what we were doing, we knew it was cutthroat, but there was a level of kindness and respect still.
Yes.
And I appreciated that. But
We
anyway,
had that with most of our characters.
Yeah. Yeah.
Most of them.
Like a nice little bond.
yeah. But when you're in casting, you can't speak.
Right,
And
right.
so, like, I got on an elevator with Tyson, and I'm a rule follower. I only
Yes.
child. Now, it was a wild thing running around Michigan Avenue growing up in Chicago. But as I got older, I became a rule follower. So I'm standing there listening, doing my rules, and Tyson comes on and does the elf thing, and hits every single button on the elevator.
No. Oh no.
And I'm like, oh, is he gonna get in trouble? Like, I'm looking at him. I mean, I had more fun observing Tyson and Coach. Coach would have his kimonos on, his hair,
gosh.
watching these guys during casting. Aaron was there, and but anyway, and got the call and was like, "You're on," and
amazing.
I was so excited. The night before I flew out, they call you to go get shots. And wear a long sleeve shirt because in that double tree, everybody peek out the windows if you wanted to. So
Yes.
Yeah.
Lynn pulled me aside. Okay, so you can probably see I'm a lazy jewelry wearer. I put it all on. I sleep in it. I water ski in it. I garden in it. I don't care. Lynn pulled me aside one day after breakfast and sat me down. She goes, you know you're already playing the game. Get that jewelry off. I was like, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I ran upstairs. I'm like ripping everything off, putting it in pillowcases, hiding it in my room. I mean,
Listen, this is hilarious because we actually interviewed Lynn a week ago.
Yeah.
And we heard these stories because she said the same thing to Leslie about bringing a pillow. She says it to people like, you're already playing this game. And it's like, it's incredible to hear your story, like with Lynn.
We all had the Lynn experience.
The
Well, at
Lynn
least in the old
experience.
school.
I can even take it up a notch.
Oh,
Remember Housewives of Beverly Hills? A long
Yes.
time ago. Todd, y'all are probably too young. But
No,
back
I
in the
totally-
day, they used to wear these shirts that were by Sky, SKY, and they were these halter tops with all this elaborate, like a panther on it and all this.
Yep.
Shit on it. That's what I brought to casting. I had on my Sky shirts. And Lynn goes, do you have any t-shirts and jeans? I was like, I looked at her and she goes, get to the Gap. So we had one afternoon off and I went to the Gap and I bought all these t-shirts and jeans. I didn't know what to bring to casting.
Yeah.
It was gonna look good because I knew I was going to be the older one. So I'm like in these Housewives of Beverly Hills, Sky,
they're like, you are not going to survive out there, babe.
I'm like, what was I thinking?
But it's because you're right. In casting, you want to dress up to make, show off.
It's
You want to look
TV.
good.
It's TV.
I wanted to look.
But
I wanted to look good, and I knew I was going to be one of the older ones.
one of the Montauk
I'm
figures.
in my early 60s right now. And
Oh, wow.
Leslie and I were talking. I teach 8 to 10 fitness classes a week. I'm probably in better shape than I've ever been. And now
You look
I would tell
phenomenal.
someone- well, thank you, Todd. Now I would tell someone what I really thought because I'm not a principal. I'd probably be a better player than I was.
Yes, I know I
would
would.
be wearing Sky shirts to the
Fantastic.
casting. So
Yeah.
anyway, this
You
is
live and
how
you
I was
learn.
going.
Well, at least we had Lynn to coach us, I remember
What a
one
love
time
line.
I always like straighten my hair for some reason, but my hair is actually, as you saw in the show, very, very curly.
Yeah.
It's like
And
this big.
I left it curly one day and she said, what are you doing? What are you doing? You are the mom from the South and I need you to go blow dry your hair. And I was like, oh, okay. So, I mean, like I was like, but this is what I'm going to look like out there. And she's like, I don't give a shit. I want you to go blow dry your hair. And I was like, okay, I got it.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
I did. And she wanted me to look. It was the look that they were
It was
looking
a look
for.
they were above. I know.
Yeah.
I know.
And it's so funny. I'm so glad I had her there. She was my biggest proponent.
And see, I had short hair then, and
Yeah.
I think it was maybe a little curlier, but yeah, I had shorter hair then. But weirdly, menopause has made my hair grow. This is not extensions, which is so funny. People always think I have extensions in. This is not. Usually menopause, you go bald.
Some good hair. You've got some
Yeah,
really
you
good
do.
I got
hair.
decent hair now. I'm ready to go.
Dang.
Weirdly,
She's like, call me Survivor. I'm ready. Yeah.
anyway, but yeah, it was Lynn snapped this into shape. And also in my audition, this was funny. So you have to go in, then they take you over to the studios.
Yes.
You go in that big room, the little staged area, I would say, like a little small play, whatever. What do you call it? A little amphitheater inside. Anyway, and Mark and Jeff were sitting there. There's tons of people looking at you, and you walk in and you sit down. And Mark, somehow it came up that I was a principal, and Mark said, or maybe it's Jeff, I don't know. One of them said, well, how do you get kids' attention? I said, well, I can get a whole gymnasium full of children's attention if you need me to. And Mark said, yeah, show us how. I said, you really? He goes, yeah, show us. I jumped up and I screamed in that room and I put my hand up and I'm like, eyes on me. And they screamed like I would in a gymnasium and put my hands up and I'm like, now all of you are supposed to raise your hands and close your mouth at the same time. It's up. And so I don't
Oh
know.
my gosh, that's awesome.
What
That's so fun. Did you ever do
You'll
that on
believe it or not.
Tocantins?
Yeah.
Did
Is
you
that
ever
how
do
you
that?
grabbed everybody's
No.
attention? Yeah.
no.
me.
No, I was trying to. It was funny. I didn't know what to do. And if you watch, I'm a clown, the first episode, because Sierra and Brendan are digging a hole in the sand, and I go bopping out there, and they're like, and they looked at me, and I was like, "Hey, what y'all doing?" And they're like, "We're building a fire pit to have a party." I'm like, let's have a party. And I go running back to tell everybody they were looking for a freaking idol.
I remember.
Of course they were. And my dumb ass is like, we're having a party. Let's go. And
But okay, the first few days while you're out there, everybody has like their facade still. You know, like you're putting on a show for everybody else, and it's really awkward. But like, I mean, even watching the episode, you can always see the progression. Like the first episode, everybody is fake laughing, everybody is being all like friendly and like ha ha ha, and then it slowly gets worse and worse, and it's pretty amazing to watch.
it does.
does.
And but what was funny is Coach Tyson and I in Ponderosa kept making a lot of eye contact.
Hmm.
Like, when you can't speak to people and look and seeing who's still
Yes.
drinking coffee, because I'd wean myself up. They're going to be sick out there. They're going to have a headache. You're looking. And Coach and Tyson and I always had this look. And the way we found out what tribes we were on is we were just sitting around Ponderosa one day in Survivor School, and they walked around and just handed different colored buffs out.
Really?
And we're looking at each other, grabbing it, and then we're like, you still can't talk, but we knew at least we were on the side. It was very uneventful. It was very weird. Somebody just came around with a sack and handed us. I got a black
Because
buff,
you guys started off in your tribes
yeah.
and let's play.
an original Tocantins.
Oh, so
Oh, I love
fun.
that.
I love
With me
it.
every night. No, I'm kidding.
If you're listening and not watching on YouTube, that she just held up. Tell them what you held up, Debbie.
Oh, it's the black Timbira. We got to keep these back in the day. I don't know
Yeah.
if they still do.
You have
And
ours,
this is the green.
the merge buff.
This was when we merged, and Coach came up with the name Forza, which kind of sounds like another word, but he just made it up, and we were all like, sure. He came up with
Sounds
some
good.
excuse of what it is, but yeah, I definitely treasure these. That's for sure. If somebody
Oh,
broke in my
that's
house,
so
they can
cool.
steal all the jewelry. Don't take these.
But not your buffs.
Yeah.
No,
Um,
not my
like
buff.
your season is I think the only season that a tribe started off with a black buff, which I was always so jealous of because I always wanted the black buff. The merge buff on China was black, and I was thankful for that. But
Yeah.
we got lucky because we were red, and that was my other choice.
And that was your other choice. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Because we like to, there are articles of clothing too. And for an older person, for me, as a middle school principal, I was thinking, oh, am I going to be able to pull this off as a cheap top? When you're out there, it's like, I don't give a shit.
Don't care.
Yeah.
Don't even
Whatever,
care.
I just need everything covered and I'm good. That was me. I just didn't want to be naked on TV and embarrass my
Well,
kids.
The other thing I showed Leslie, I'll get it later, as I have my lovely dress still.
Do you really?
I'll get it.
Mhm. It's
know.
actually really cute. I was like, oh, it's cute.
Believe it or not, this hangs very proudly in my closet.
No. Oh my gosh, that's
Kind
so.
of stinks. But like, I could go out there tomorrow. I got the outfit. I got the buff. Why don't the three of us could just
All right,
know.
Jesse Tannenbaum, this is your chance.
I love it.
Match
I
her
love
out.
it. So
She's in her
have you
prime.
been? Would play again, right? I'm assuming.
I would
if
play
you were
again.
asked. Yeah.
I would
I
play
mean-
again. My thing with Survivor, and we haven't even touched on this subject, is it was more than a game to me. And I
Well,
can
let's
get
find out why.
Yeah.
I can get kind of emotional about it because at the time I went into it just excited. I loved the show, loved the game. But I was living in an abusive relationship. It had been for 5 years, pretty severe. Narcissist, you name it, you name it. I was living a secret life of that, running a school. So when I was asked to play Survivor, I was like, awesome, let's do this. I was trying to figure out what life was going to look like for me. And Survivor, like, it's funny, I think of living out there and I can picture our campsite to this day perfectly. I don't know if you guys can, but
Mhm.
I was at peace out there. I wasn't,
Giving me chills.
my brain wasn't in turmoil. I didn't know what was coming next in my home. I had 3 stepchildren and I had 2 of my own that were living in the home. And it was just one of those situations where the show became so much more to me because after the show, I came home and I finally made a decision for myself that it was time to leave, and I was leaving no matter how hard and how difficult it got. And I would have never done that without Survivor. And so
Was this right away or did it take some time?
no, it was pretty much right away. So we got back right before Christmas, and by January, the process had started.
What?
Dang, girl.
And it was a situation my parents had begged me to get out of. It's a situation where there was the finances behind a way to terrorize me and stalk me back in the old days when you could, follow someone's phone and call them. And obviously, when you're married, they know your social security, they know your maiden name. So water was being turned off when I tried to get away. I had to live with my parents for a while. But I have to tell you a sweet story about that. Is one day I was sitting in my office going through all of this absolute turmoil and hell and abuse. It was physical and mental. There was a lot going on. And I got a call from Stephen Fishback. And it can make me cry still to this day. And he's like, "What are you doing?" And Coach called every day. Coach and I stayed very good friends. And Stephen, so my people in the end knew what I was going through. And so Stephen's like, "What are you doing, Beebs?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm just at my desk, came out my office." He's like, "You got time to get away for a minute? I'm actually coming through Auburn. And I'll meet you at Starbucks." I was like, "What?" Dropped everything. I mean, it's so good. I go running out there, and there's a cattle truck sitting there full of cows. And there's JT and Stephen waiting with open arms. And I mean, I still get, and I ran into their arms crying. They hugged me. These cows are peeing all over the Starbucks parking lot in Auburn. And they had traveled with a truckload of cows.
Wow.
And they were like, "We're going to see her." And it's a bond. You guys know this. It's a weird bond with these people. I may not speak to them every day anymore, but they will forever live so deep in my heart. And but that was a moment that I'll never forget were those two. And since then we've all seen each other occasionally here and there. But the show gave me the strength to leave an abusive relationship, to get out. It was so much more than a game and a show to me. Did I know it at the time? Not so much. But now, anytime anybody asks me for an autograph, can you do a school video call? Can you, even though I'm like, why do they want me? It's been 15 years. But I get my buff on and I get my dress by me and I get the screen, my kids call it my shrine. I have all these pictures and I put it all behind me, but I will do anything or say anything to anybody that wants to hear about the show, because to me, that's giving back to what the show gave to me. And the show gave me my life. I've been happily married now to a lovely man that came into my life. I swore I'd never get remarried again. His name is Brian Flowers. Thus, my name is now Debbie Flowers. And I'm so happy. I'm a grandma. I have got a 2-year-old and 9-month-old that are just so much fun. And some people believe in all different things. And Leslie, you know how we go through that. And
Oh yeah.
and I believe things happen in your life for a reason, no matter who you're what. And that show was meant for me at that time to get out of an abusive relationship, to realize what my self-worth was, to set my boundaries, and to know, because I think it was in a hamster wheel, like we were talking earlier. It's like I would deal with it and then go away for a while. And then I'd deal with it and go away for a while. And it was like the perpetual tornado. And so Survivor picked me up and set me out.
Mhm.
And Lynn casting me, just Jeff and the team, and I will forever be grateful. Yeah.
I fully understand, appreciate, and relate to that.
Yeah.
I mean, I wasn't in an abusive relationship with my husband or anything, but I do think I was living, spiritual abuse. I needed to see that. And it took Survivor, like you said, to pull me out of my little Christian bubble and plop me in the middle of China with people from all different walks of life, to see that the world is a lot bigger than what I had been taught. And now the freedom that I have found as a result of this show is why I want to do this show, because I want people to see like it's so much more than
It's so much
entertainment.
more than a game.
Yeah.
And, some people maybe go on and play it. It's a game. They had fun. They move on. Life is grand. But there's a lot of people that really don't.
So, okay, because this is probably one of the coolest stories I've heard. Like, I absolutely love that story.
Oh,
That's incredible. It really
yeah,
makes me
thank
like
you.
so happy, like to think about because I mean, for me, I had a lot of people who always thought like I could never like, oh, you're not good enough. You couldn't do that, because I'm not
Right.
an outdoor person. I'm not physical. I'm not an
Mhm.
athlete or anything like that. But I wanted to prove not only to like them, but to myself that I could.
Yeah.
And I had a moment kind of like what you're saying, and I'll get to what I'm getting at, but on day 17 is when I laid down in the dirt. Literally, I was ready to quit. And I was like, I can't do this. I hate this. This sucks. And I said, you have 10 minutes to be like sad about this and like throw your little pity party. And then after that, you're going to like get your ass up and you're going to go because
Get it
this
out.
is your dream. Right. So,
Yeah.
like, that was my moment in China where I was like, I am able to do this. I
Yeah.
I can do this. And so what do you have a moment where like all of these emotions and feelings came together? Do you
Yeah.
remember anything
I
specific?
do. I do. And it was so we won a challenge and they took us to a tiny little village out there in the middle of wherever, we were in the Jalapao region of Tocantins, but so there was a small little village there and they took us there. Now, mind you, we don't speak Portuguese. We are filthy. We are in that horrendous out, look
I'm sure you
terrible.
smelled great too.
Oh, gross, gross. And these little children came running up to
Oh,
us. And this one kept touching my hair and looking at
I
this
remember
pond.
that.
And
Oh,
I just lost it because I thought of my children. I thought of the children that I had left at the school. I had great assistant principals. They were in charge. And my superintendent, I told everybody I was going to work with a third world country
Amazing.
in schools because I couldn't tell everybody I'm going on Survivor. But that child came up and then it kept sitting next to me, touching me, and I am just sitting there sobbing. Of course, now my face is like white with streaks because it's so muddy. Um, but that was the moment I'm like, I just don't know if I can play this game anymore. I'm being untruthful to people, which is, I was Leslie and I talked a little bit before, but I'm a Libra. I like people happy. I want everybody happy. I don't want to be anybody to not like me and be mean to me. But piss me off and I will, you will. Now that's me. I can take a lot, but once I'm pissed, I'm cut. And so
love it.
anyway, I just it was I kind of lost track of where but that's what I was telling Leslie is it's like I wanted everybody to get along. I like it when people are getting along, but yet that's just not, how the
I
game.
think it's more today's Survivor. There's a lot more kumbaya moments, I think, in today's
Well, and
Survivor. But
it really sounds like she was doing her real life too, like
yeah,
you were making sure that he was happy in the relationship, blah, 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 and you were not worried about yourself.
I was always taking care of everybody else from my school to my family. I was the last of the priority. And that's really funny, Todd, now that you said that, because that really gives me some processing too. It was the first time I think in my life, besides being a wild college kid, that I was by myself and that I was about me. It was
you were
about
doing something
me.
for you,
You
Yeah.
and
self-care in the form of,
Yeah.
trauma.
And
I,
so
it is.
Leslie, is your story is very similar too. You were always making everybody else
Everybody.
happy, and you
Yeah.
like. So I hear these stories, because my mom even is very similar. She likes to make sure everybody else is taken care of,
Yes.
but she's not ever worried about her. She's last, and I'm like, you need to really do something special. So she's actually worked a lot too, and she treats herself, and I am so proud of her. I'm like, you
Me
deserve
too.
that.
And what's funny is here's this. I don't know if you've ever heard this terminology. I always eat the burnt toast. I'm going to eat the burnt toast. If there's only enough, then I'm going to have a little bit. Same thing in Survivor. I'm sure I can say this, edit it out if I can. But we don't march to every single freaking thing. We're not walking to every challenge with our torches 500 miles in the desert.
Yeah.
We were in trucks
Yeah.
and we had these Range Rovers, which of course they take the mirrors off. They took a hose. I don't know if they did this with you guys, but a dryer hose from the air conditioning and put it into the back. We were all blacked out back there, but there was one middle seat. And I never got the middle seat. I always crawled in the back and hunched over. Now, we couldn't talk when we were in that truck. There was a producer with us, but it was reprieve, but I never sat there. Coach always got the middle seat. I'm
You
also
always got
playing
the
a game
back.
in my head. Like, I'm going to be the nice one. They're going to like me. I want to sit in the back.
I'm going to be agreeable.
I'm going to be agreeable. But that would have been me in my daily life. I'm the one that's going to be in the trunk like this while everybody else is drinking champagne, stretched out, because I always eat the burnt toast.
I do wonder though, if that's like a mom archetype kind of thing. I think many of us who were cast as, I mean, you weren't cast as the mom, but you were the older woman, with younger people, and we are kind of considered the moms out there.
The caretakers, the ones.
Yeah, we were the caretakers.
Oh, for sure. I packed those stupid purses every night with straw and gave so everybody had a pillow. I mean, and I could have been snake bit 100 times. We were infested with snakes out there. Those pit viper things.
Same in China. That's crazy.
It was so gross. And it was brown. So when we got like a blue towel one day at the river, I was like, this is so pretty. There's color. Everything was brown.
Oh, look at that. Color.
See, but that's one thing that I find really interesting is like you said, there's a lot of the caretaker mom roles that are cast where they do take care of everybody. But I always say, because like I say to my mom, it's like, what are you going to do for yourself? Because you deserve it. You deserve it too. Take it, take it. And like, it sounds like both of you have, I mean, I know Leslie, you grabbed this podcast by the balls and said, let's do it. And that's, it's for you. It's not for anybody else to you.
I'm doing it for me. And if other people like it, then yay. I want to spend time with Todd, and I love people, and I want to celebrate Survivor,
Well, and that's me. I will celebrate. I will do anything. I was recently reached out to talk to somebody that's writing a book. You may have seen it on Facebook too. He's doing it. And I talked to him about my casting thing. Because again, I am going to give back every chance I get. I am not out there though. I also know the reality of I wasn't a big famous player like Coach and Tyson, and I'm not one of the most memorable women that's ever played the show. Let's put it that way. So do I want to go take someone else's space at an event? I'm not putting my name out there like, hey guys, I want to come to your event. I would come to anybody's event that needed me. But I'm also know that I'm not really relevant to a lot of fans anymore. It's 15 years. They want to see, I don't know. I would go to anything anybody needed me to go to. I just don't reach out to event planners and say, hey, I want to come, because
I will say this right now, though. I know a ton of fans who are going to be really excited to hear from you.
Yeah,
because in a lot of the fans' eyes, it's that you're just living your own life and you're not there in the Survivor.
No,
that's not true, is what I'm learning right now, and I love it.
Mm-hmm. I love it, and it's funny. Like I said, every day I think of that 15 years ago. It is truly the single most thing that has shaped my world. And I think every day I'm so thankful for that opportunity. Mm-hmm. And that's like I said, I would give back. I would play. I have given away 2 of my buffs that I brought back home to 2 individuals that were the biggest super fans that I've ever met. And I'm like, they will treasure it. So I just want to give back. The show gave me so much. And listen, when I saw your post, Leslie, like, hey, would anybody, I was like, oh, should I do it? It really did change my life though. Should I do it? Oh, I'm nervous.
I'm so glad you
like, to hell with it. I'm doing it. I'm going to reach out. They may not want to talk to me, but I'm doing it because I am so grateful for the show. It's much more than a game to me.
If I could just say one thing, I don't care if you thought you were, not memorable or not this or not. If you were on Survivor and you have a story like this and you want to share it, this is the place to do it. We aren't going to say you weren't memorable enough. Nobody remembers you. I mean, who am I to say that? I was on for 3 freaking episodes. People don't even remember who I was, except by Sister Christian. You know what I mean? Like that was all they knew. But it's not about that. It's about the heart. And so I love that. But I actually do recall you. I remember you playing a pretty darn good game.
Yes.
Until when you got
It's
voted out.
at the end. And you know what? I'm small anyway.
Yeah.
So these people that were losing all this weight and skinny, I'm used to being kind of scrawny. So I was like, by the end, I was feeling good. I was like, oh, let's keep this thing going, you know?
Yeah.
And but in the end, and it was funny because our cast, when we were watching it live, we were calling each other like, did you just say that shit about me? How dare you say that shit? Like JT and it was so funny. And that first year we got back, I spent the 4th of July with JT and Mobile. And believe it or not, we live like 40 minutes from each other now. So we're both down
you
in
and
Southern
who?
Alabama.
JT? You and oh, that's so fun.
Yeah.
I was going to ask, who do you hang out with still, or when was the last time?
So I haven't hung out with any of our cast, and because I haven't been to any events, to be honest with you. I haven't hung out with any, but we chatter like Aaron and Todd and Tyson and you know, JT obviously is close, but out of my group, I really feel like any of us could pick up the phone and say, dude, I need you.
Yeah.
I need you. I haven't talked to you in 15
Fully.
years. And you know, it's funny, Jerry, and I'm certainly, please, I am not at all comparing Survivor to the military. Am not doing that.
Yeah.
But Jerry, that was on my tribe to start, greatest guy ever. He got sick and had to go. And he looked at us and goes, I would rather be right now in Afghanistan than the hellhole. He goes, I am so sick. Well, he ended up like with a bowel obstruction or something.
Oh my gosh.
But you know, and he said to me, he goes, you guys are going to bond like you will not believe, because you're going through something that no one else can understand really. And you guys, when we flew back together, of course we look like hell. We get to the Miami airport. Now Jeff flew with us till, I believe it was Los Palmas, I think. But anyway, or Rio. And then Jeff exited. So we were all kind of still together, looking terrible. But then we get to Miami and we're all in customs, and now we're all going our different ways. And remember, this is the jury, right? So it's all the different tribes. And it was the jury. And we're all just sitting there looking at each other. And cheers. Like, we all start, I'm bawling, knowing I'm going back to a hellhole of a life. And I wanted to see my children and my parents. I'm an only child. And, but we all cried in the Miami airport, holding on to each other as we all went to our different, because it's never going to happen again. Like that, it's done. And it was a one and done, and we're done. And those people will live in my heart forever. But we truly had a closeness, in that last, as a matter of fact, that fall, DeMarcus Ware, who was a big cowboy player at the time, he's now since retired, but he invited all of us to Cowboy Stadium. So I brought our whole jury group and their significant others, and we went to Dallas. Todd, were you there?
I was just about to say, I think I was there.
And we sat into Marcus's on the field. I think you were there.
I was there.
And we all took the big bus.
Because I was with Spencer.
DeMarcus had a bus for us.
I'm like, why does this sound so familiar?
Yes. And Courtney was with David at the time.
Oh my gosh.
Tyson and Rachel. Coach flew in for a few hours. We were all there.
Yeah,
we were all
weird.
there.
That had exited my brain until just now. So
and DeMarcus, so we were at Cowboy Stadium, had those suites on field level. So we were all in there on field level. So we did some things early on, and then life happens and everybody goes.
Well, and new seasons come
and go. And we all, though, I still believe any of us, if any of those people called me and said, Debbie, I need you right now, I would be on a plane and I would go to immediately.
Well, okay.
100%.
I do have to say something for both of you, because like I hear like, I may not have been like one of the biggest players. I may not have been one of this, but here's the thing. Here's the main thing is yes, we have our coaches and our Tysons, right? And they make some crazy good TV. But for the casual viewer, for the fans that are out there, they're not relating to Tyson and Coach. They may be their favorite. They're relating to people like you, the moms or the older ladies out there, older ladies.
Yeah.
I don't mean that
I
by
was 38 when
and
it
yeah,
happened.
that's ridiculous. I'm
I don't
older
even know
than
how
you
old I
are.
was. I'm like 96 now. I mean, 15 years ago. I mean,
It's
Yeah.
ridiculous that you were cast as the older lady when you were literally
you're
younger
sweet.
than me now. But
Yeah.
like those are the people that are related to. Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
Yes,
And so
agreed.
the credit needs to be given.
Well,
So like, cause that's incredible. That is incredible. You went out to these crazy locations, both of you. I mean, Leslie, China was horrible.
Oh, I heard it was the worst. Like she
horrible.
and everything
It
was the
smelled
worst.
like manure everywhere we
And
went.
You say it was only 3 episodes, but it was like
9 days.
1/3 of New Era Survivor. You know what I mean?
Exactly, Leslie. Plus all the pre-stuff, blind
Yes.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
there. Yeah.
That's a long
Auditioning
time.
11 times,
Yeah.
all of that. It all
Yeah.
goes into it.
Yeah.
My experience with Survivor was a lot longer than 3 episodes, but
Yes.
you only got to see 3.
Right.
And so I just like the credit needs to be given because the motherly figure, I don't think that a lot of survivors could do it without the motherly figure out there, the
I
caretakers.
think
You know
they
what I
know
mean?
that too. I think
Yeah.
they know that. I think they know
do
that there will
too,
be
and I think
people
that is, I think they know that they need a relatable
Yes.
woman out there
that feel safe.
that
Yeah.
is safe, that isn't, that's going to be there, play the game,
Mhm.
and smart
Be
enough to
strong.
play the game. And I
Yes.
think I would be a lot smarter player now. Again,
Same.
obviously, digging a hole.
We've evolved.
We're having a party.
My
I mean-
first thought was, wait, are they looking for an idol? And you're like, oh, they're having a party.
Like 3 out here in the middle of the desert in Tocantins, Brazil. Let's party.
It is really crazy what like you realize now though from then to now, yes, I won my season, okay, but like it was a lot of luck. I look back at the game that I played and I was like, wow, I was a paranoid mess. I was all over the place.
You were so
Like,
fun to watch, Todd.
You were,
Well, thank you.
were so awesome to
good.
watch. Like I have loved you from the minute I watched you on there. And I was so excited to meet you when we were in Louisville. I was like,
Yeah,
you know, no,
Thank you.
you are amazing. But you do look back and watch ourselves, and I'm like, I was watching myself. I'm like, and in this abusive relationship, when our season aired, I didn't get to enjoy it. I was robbed of that, which
oh my gosh.
really has hurt me deeply. So I would go watch it at a girlfriend's house, drinking wine at her house every week, not in my own home. Because in my own home, and we all know Tyson. If I was hugging Tyson after a
Oh,
challenge one, the TVs in the home would be frozen on that. Like, so I didn't get to really enjoy a finale. I brought my friends and my parents and my children. It was
good for you.
full on, at that point. So that is, I didn't even get to enjoy watching it. So when I went back and rewatched it recently, because it's such a sacred place for me and it brings up a lot of emotions. So anyway, when I went back and rewatched it, I was like so embarrassed for myself. I'm like, oh my God, you're saying it's a party, you clown.
It made for a good TV. I mean, that was a great moment of being like, what?
Oh my God. I was like, what the?
Well, if you're not a self-aware person and you go on Survivor, it's like a crash course in self-awareness. Like all of a sudden you realize, oh my God, I really am kind of annoying.
And some people come out of it with daggers, like we're in a ring, let's go, people. I mean,
Yeah.
we had a couple of those come out like that. I'm like, whoa, we're not doing this. And we voted someone off really early. And you know why? And this is funny because we were in they were in the basketball thing, I think. We were in the water. And
The water challenge.
there was a situation though before we got there that a crew member's life was lost. as they were setting up water there in that Rio Novo River. Yeah. So they had to be real careful how deep we got in the river. It was horrible. It was a terrible, terrible, horrible tragedy. We were never personally informed. It was all over the news and whatever.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think I remember reading that actually.
But one of our tribe members, and Todd was on the other tribe at the time, basically was just beating the hell out of her in this challenge and called her fat and some different things. And we were like, no, we are not going to start that
Yeah.
crowd like that right now. So that person was voted out. It was kind of not happy, obviously not happy about it. And then everything that we'd go to for the end of the show kind of things was a little spicy. So
Yeah.
no, and that scares me. I don't want people being spicy and mean and she anyway, a little aggressive. So
Yeah. Yeah.
but we really, our tribe was very in tune again to we were out there to play a game. We knew we were going to get voted off, but it wasn't personal. Like we really did like each other.
Yeah.
We get for the most
Oh,
part.
and that makes it hard because you know you have to vote people out. Like I
Right.
think we all go into it like how we feel. I remember being in my interview and them saying, "Do you think you can do this?" I'm like, "Heck yes! I play balderdash and I can like lie to people and I'm really good at it. And I, kick my kids' butts and I don't apologize,
Right.
But it's so different when you're out
It's so
there.
different.
And again, you're vulnerable, you're stripped of everything. You literally are in this family type relationship, your life depends on the people
Mhm.
around you, and
Mhm.
yet you have to vote them out. And
Yeah.
you don't
It's
realize,
someone
I don't
else.
care. I don't care who you are. Like it's going to affect you at some point.
Yes.
Yeah.
Maybe not right then. Maybe you're so focused. But like I remember when Amanda voted me off. Do you remember this, Todd? She was so upset. Like she
Yes.
stood there forever. And like it looked like she even told me afterwards, she said, I feel like I lost myself in that moment because I knew in that moment I was doing something for myself, but it didn't feel like it was for me. Like it felt like it was for them, for the tribe.
Yeah,
And
because your vote, especially like me and Amanda felt like we had to do what Aaron
right.
wanted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was because Aaron on our team was strong and he was close with James, who was also strong. And so if we didn't do their bidding, we looked weak and we
You
were
guys didn't have a
next.
choice. And I knew it.
And
But
so it was not easy.
no,
I had the exact same experience.
yeah.
Coach. I wrote
Coach.
his name down and I was physically sick, but I knew we had screwed up so badly. On the merge, we had the numbers. It was the stupidest ever. Anyway, that's a whole nother episode. But Brendan got paranoid. Tyson got paranoid. Then JT and Steven were in charge of the game.
Yep.
And they're basically like, we got to get Coach out. Well, Coach had been my ride or die, like, oh my God. And I was devastated.
Yeah. Something
And
happens in
I
you.
wrote his name down, and that was the night I was voted out.
Mm.
And they had tricked me to write down Coach when they were coming after me.
I remember.
And I was, and so my exit was me betraying
Oh,
my alignment.
your closest ally.
I was absolutely so upset about that because I did not want him to think that I did that.
That you did that.
Yeah.
But it's the same situation with you.
You had no
both
choice.
ways.
You
I had
literally
no
felt like you
choice
had
if I was
to.
going to try to stay in this game. And I was
Yeah.
trying to bargain with him, saying, listen, I get it. You guys played the better day.
Yeah.
Let me get top 3. If
Yeah.
I get into top 3, I'll give you the idol. Because I was starting to win idols at that point. Well,
Yeah.
I won the immunity necklace, excuse me.
More than both of us.
Yeah.
I won it once.
I didn't win 0. I won 0.
I barely got to
love it
play.
now.
I was always sat out for some reason.
I love it. And I was never more miserable in my life than the day I won that because it was right. We figured it was right before Thanksgiving. So what happened in that desert is it would get cold at night and it would rain during the day. And so we would be wet and cold. And that day, off camera, the medical team came up to us and said, you guys need to form a human ball right now. You are at risk of hypothermia.
Oh my
It was
gosh.
so cold. And plus, we're wet with sand on us. The one thing I cannot stand in life is wet clothes on me. Like
Yes.
I don't. So we've got wet clothes on, we've got sand stuck to us, we're freezing cold. That was, well, mine wasn't a real skill to win. I almost beat Tyson in hanging onto that pole, but
Oh.
the key, which I can't even believe, you guys, that thing was so freaking high. And I don't remember how long we were up there, but I think it was over an hour.
Yeah, it was forever. I remember that. Where they just plugged the pole.
Yeah, I'm holding on, and Tyson's in barefoot, which I should have done. I had shoes on, but he was crawling up and down it like a monkey, and I'm hanging on for dear life. And Jeff's like cutting jokes, and I'm holding on. You know, they're talking about, you know, the principal on a pole and shit, and I'm trying not to laugh and hold on to this pole, but I almost got Tyson in that one. But
That's so cool.
So speaking of the coach, like, are you excited to watch him in 50?
I cannot wait to watch him in season. I cannot wait.
So I'm assuming you're rooting for him, yeah?
Yeah, of course.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's fair.
You know, he's a lot of things. He has a very, you know, my biggest thing is his commitment to wanting to play with integrity and you know, the whole thing. And you just you can, but you can't really.
Yeah.
And so we were friends when he went to play the next season. Was it Heroes and Villains?
Heroes and Villains, yeah.
And I was like, dude, get out there, don't boss people around, lay low. You know, I'm sitting back in the back coaching him like jokingly, but he's a great, kind soul. He's
I
a
love
little
him.
theatrical, which
Yeah.
we all have our gigs. He's a little you know. He
A
admitted
little
that-
Debbie.
Yeah.
He's a lot, but it's
He's a
great.
lot. He's a lot.
But he's
He
great
admitted
TV.
the stuff that he was doing on the beach, like,
Yeah.
you know, he told us that we'd have to Google it when we got home. Well, then before the end of it, he admitted he made that shit up. He's not.
Of course he does.
That's
And
amazing.
we're all believing him. Just like this green buffer called Forza. I was
Oh, yeah.
driving down a highway the other day, and there was a big truck that had a Forza sign on. I'm like, that is so funny. But he came up with some fake shit that it meant. And we're all like, sure, you won't be Forza. And I'm like, it sounds like foreskin, kind of.
Yeah.
But okay.
That's hilarious.
But like whatever coach said, we were all like, okay. But the night he told us about, you know, the pygmies getting attacked and we were all in the dark that night. You couldn't see our faces. But yes, he's a bit theatrical, but I am so cheering him on. You know, he's a dad. He's got beautiful wife and children, and yeah. I mean,
He's a sweet guy. I mean, he really is very sweet. I've
is.
had nothing but good experiences with him,
He's a
and
great guy.
I'm cheering for him. But I really want Chrissy to win. Chrissy's my girl.
Absolutely.
I love her.
Yeah.
Another mom archetype.
Another mom. I know.
Yeah.
The very first time I met Coach, he came up behind me and licked my ear. And that was my introduction
did.
to him.
That was probably in Louisville. He was in Louisville with us.
Yep. And I was like,
But Todd, did you enjoy it? That's the question.
no.
It's like the best ear lick you've ever had.
But I love it because it was Coach. It was
It's
such
very
a
coachy.
coach
Yeah,
thing, you know?
It is truly him. Listen, he had his toenails painted during casting and when he came out on the show. And I'm not sure I'd ever, noticed that before on with the kimono, the hair and the thing, and silver toenails. I noticed that when we were in casting, and I remember looking at his feet thinking, because then we would you guys probably did too, in those big banquet rooms at the hotel watching Survivor or taking all the tests to make sure you're not a serial killer and going to go out there.
Yeah.
Which
You hear voices.
yeah. I'm like, and it's really funny because I, as an educator, I have a real problem sometimes. Well, I have a hard time believing in standardized testing. I'm just going to put it out there.
Yeah.
I'm ADHD. I look like I should not be able to set up straight on a standardized test. Give me a task and I can do it. So when we had to set all day and take those, mental awareness tests was torture for me.
Oh,
because I studying in standardized testing, and I know children and being in as a principal, a lot of kids aren't going to shine in a standardized test. Give them something else to do. Don't give me directions to read. Show me how to do it, and I'll do it 10 times. But anyway, that's a whole other,
Debbie,
but
you just
yeah.
said something that made me think about something. You said
Yeah.
you have ADHD. Okay,
Yes,
so I
very
have
much.
a theory. I have a theory that in order to be cast for Survivor, that is kind of a thing that you have to have. I
Yes.
honestly,
I
because
have it.
everybody I know who has played the game either has it or is borderline. You know what I
Never
mean?
thought
Like
of that. Yeah.
we
Yeah,
just
it makes
have
sense.
these because we are verbal processors, and I think that
Yes.
can get us into trouble, and that is great TV. Am I
Great
right?
TV.
We talk through a
Yes.
lot of things. We
Yeah, yeah.
talk, we
Yeah.
argue through a lot of things.
Yep.
Yeah.
We're
it's
very
crazy.
animated.
I can be
Very.
painting over here, yet here to the conversation
Yeah.
all the way over there.
Yes.
But
We're good at puzzles.
puzzles, I can do all the, and I get very hyper fixated on
Yes.
certain
Yes.
and I'll
Absolutely.
just spend all day. Don't
The
give me a hook,
hyperfixation is real.
I know.
Ugh.
Don't give me a hook, line, story. But
I'm going to
anyway,
start asking all of our guests about that.
yeah, good. So we're sitting in these banquet rooms,
Yeah.
and you would see less and less people coming.
Mhm.
So they're weeding people out, and less people are coming in and more going home. But again, I was here, Coach, saw the painted toenails. Tyson's going up getting handfuls of cookies and taking them back. And I'm like, we're only supposed to take one. Why? I want a cookie. Move forward. I just watched everybody. The whole casting process is funny, but it was neat because all of a sudden we're all thrown in Brazil, and you're seeing people that were there. And
Yeah.
How wild was that? Because Leslie was at my casting.
Yeah.
oh, you
Yes,
were? You guys were
Yeah.
there?
Yep.
Yeah.
We
So
saw
like
each other.
we made the
We
eye
knew each other.
contact.
I mean, it was weird. I think we connected immediately in
Mhm.
some weird way. I'm not quite sure what it was, but I was like, uh-oh, like
And I
this
think
guy.
in life we do that. Isn't
Yeah.
that weird?
Yes.
I do
Yeah.
think spiritually and karma, and just like I am, and people tell me this, I guess, is I'm pretty very high energy, very personable, and I'm attracted to people like that. Negativity around me gets me.
Whining. No.
Yeah. The other day I woke up and my husband, it was pouring here, and he had to go pump the pool or something. And he's like in gym shorts and boots and crouched around. And I'm just waking up, and I'm like, what's going on? He's like, I gotta go pump the pool. And I was like, oh God, I start my day like that. And, anyway, we were laughing about it later, but negative energy just kind of, so I tend to gravitate.
Yeah.
And I want to be around people that put off that. And I think that's kind of what you're saying, Leslie, is it's an unspoken thing. I feel like
Yes.
the energy connection with certain people, you kind of feel it. And
Yeah.
And
It's
that
kind
was,
of fun.
Absolutely.
it's fun. And that was Coach Tyson and I from the beginning. We never spoke, but we looked at each other.
Mhm. Yep. Same.
I mean, yeah.
So Debbie, what are you doing now? What are you up to after the torch?
So after the torch, we're now down in South Alabama. I am doing executive recruiting. I'm a managing director of a recruiting firm. So love doing that. I like to say I go about recruiting differently. It's not this headhunter push. It's like, hey, I got this job. You interested? Let's talk. Love it. Have some great clients I work with to help. So I do that, but I teach fitness, bar cardio. The jump sport fitness trampoline is my favorite. 8 to 10 classes a week, and I have a big English cream golden retriever laying next to me that she and I walk the beach Beasley, come here. We walk every day. Was they hi?
I love a golden retriever.
Oh.
They're my favorite.
Well, she is come here. She is like,
Oh.
Bubba.
wait,
I know, Bubba.
Oh.
I would have 500 dogs if I could.
Oh,
And
same.
I've
Yes.
always
100%.
rescued. But with and I just my most recent or my latest rescue she just passed away. And so anyway, yeah, Mrs. Beasley. So this is for all the older fans.
I remember Mrs. Beasley.
I still have my
Yes.
Mrs. Beasley doll, Leslie.
Yes, of course.
So this is Mrs. Beasley after.
I know. How do I know that? Explain it, because I've heard the name. I don't.
It was Buppy and Jody. It was called A
Mhm.
Family Affair.
Family Affair. It was a show. And Mrs. Beasley was their like what
Okay.
nanny or something.
It's a creepy old lady doll. And if you have 2 seconds, I can grab her. She's next
Oh,
door.
please go grab
want
her.
me
We
to
have
get
to
her?
show Todd.
Yeah.
We have to
All
show
right.
Todd.
All right. I will get her.
Yeah, me and my sister had one, and she has like a bun on top of her head, and she like glasses, and I think was it a polka dotted dress or was that Dressy Bessie? I don't remember.
It's so like this. The name is so familiar. I don't.
Yeah. Well, did you ever see Family Affair with Jody and Buffy?
I don't think
Yeah.
so.
They were okay. That was a see. This is the older women. This was our season of life. Yeah. There she is. Yep. Yep. Polka
my
dot.
gosh.
See?
What
Yep.
young child wanted an old lady looking doll?
I thought she had a bun on her head. She doesn't have a bun? I thought she had a
No,
bun.
but she's got really great hair in the back.
Oh,
from
yeah.
being
Oh,
lame her whole
bedhead.
life.
Love it. I have that.
And
thing
they
too.
and she used to have glasses. You know, the little black.
That's what I was
I
going to
would
say.
like to know, why did someone think, and I still have this doll, obviously,
Yeah. Yeah.
a long time,
Yeah.
that it was cute for a little girl to want an old lady.
I don't know, but I loved her so much. She was amazing.
Oh,
She was a great
crazy.
doll.
We
But I
have
really
just
thought she
learned
had a bun in
Mrs.
her head.
Beasley.
Now I feel like I've
God,
been, you know,
we've
the
educated you.
was it the Mandela
Mandela
effect or whatever?
effect.
I'm like, I swear mine had a bun. Now I got to like look it up.
Did they have different versions, or were they all the
Maybe,
same?
yeah, but
No.
she did have that dress, and
No,
I mean,
it's
everything
just
about her
a
looks
skirt
familiar.
and beautiful shoes.
Yellow, beautiful
Yellow,
shoe.
and she had square glasses, but they've never had buns, Leslie. It's got to be a different one. Might have
Okay.
been
Well,
Christy with the pull hair that you could, I don't know.
yeah. Yeah. Or Dressy
don't know.
Bessie. Remember Dressy Bessie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I sure
She had
don't.
pigtails though. She was
And you
going,
want to know something else? This is the only thing as a child I bought with my own money.
Really?
Yeah, and I still have her because I
You,
saved my money and bought this doll.
we need to
oh,
find you replacement glasses for her.
I know,
yes.
Poor Mrs.
Todd, you could
Beasley.
probably make some.
I probably
Todd's
could.
good at
I
this stuff.
I guarantee I could get on eBay, but I leave her. This is funny. She's the warden of my closet, so she sets
I
on my
love it.
shelf in my
Love it.
closet. And people that don't know of Mrs. Beasley will be come over like, "What in the hell is that
Like,
creepy doll
Ah,
on
this
your
is very
shelf?"
general.
Oh, how fun.
Yay. Deb, this
Oh,
has been so much fun.
It's so
Thank
much
you.
fun. Oh my God,
seriously.
we have to plan to get together. Like seriously,
I would love that.
I would go anywhere, y'all. You can come down here anytime. We'll just have a big old reunion.
I've never been to Alabama, I don't think.
So if you've heard of Gulf Shores,
Wait, maybe I have
Orange
been.
Beach,
Yep.
we're down off the Gulf. I'm
okay.
actually in a little town called Fairhope, which is on Mobile Bay.
Fairhope, Alabama. That
Yes.
sounds like it's from a
Amazing.
Lifetime movie.
There's so many Lifetime movies down here. It's got the old, big, huge, hundreds of year old oak trees that form the
That
street.
do
Oh,
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
It's a fantastic little community, and love here. You know, I lived in Auburn for many years. My family are still parents. I'm an only child, are still there. And then my children are down in this area. So
How
I get
cool.
to spend time with family. And that's why we came back here. Well, I was in Louisville, Kentucky, like I told you, for about 7 years. And then we decided it was time to get home. I have a father that unfortunately struggles with dementia. And so I wanted to get closer to be able to help my mom. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
so, but
That's
he's
nice.
well, so.
Well, we appreciate you because coming out and like talking to us because you're not like super, you know, like you said out there, but I appreciate so much your vulnerability and your ability to share your journey with us. It's amazing to hear the difference that this show can make in people's lives.
It truly, like I said, it
I-
truly changed my life. And I
Well,
appreciate you guys asking and wanting me on it. Like I told you, I kept going, oh, should I? And if I'm getting red, for some reason, my air conditioning up here is not kicking on. So it's like 180 degrees in here right now.
You don't look
I
red
don't
at
look
all.
red and crazy. Okay.
But-
But
seriously, thank you, because of this is the reason why I love this podcast today, is because you like you said, you're not out there like everybody that is crazy on TV.
yeah.
And we know about them. We can Google and find out about them. But
Yeah.
this has been so fun because I'm learning about you and your story, and it's a great story. So
yeah.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
And I
been
really
awesome.
do feel it's unique in the sense that And Leslie, you know, when something truly changed the trajectory of your life,
Mhm.
it lives in me, and I
Yeah.
am grateful, thankful every single day. Yeah.
Well, we love
You're
you.
awesome.
Thank you, Debbie.
Yeah.
Thank you guys. Let's
Thank you so
definitely
much.
stay in touch. And
Yes.
hey, my home is open. Come visit me anytime. I got plenty. We got room. We'll go to the beach and ride around on my golf cart.
And you have a
Sounds
pool.
lovely.
I do
And
have
you're
a
right
pool.
there.
As long as my husband doesn't have to get up early and pump it, it's all good.
Oh,
Have a great day. Thank you for doing
thank you,
this for
Debbie.
fans.
Of course.
Let's definitely stay in touch.
Okay.
Absolutely. This
All
was
right.
awesome. Thank
Bye,
you.
Bye,
Queenie.
guys. Thank
Bye.
you.
Oh my goodness. That was so much fun.
He is great.
What a
I
great
love
story.
I love that. That was a lot of fun.
That like made me tear up a few times, you know?
Yeah.
Like, wow. What
I
a
mean,
story.
okay, like yeah, the fact that she, learned enough, or just I should say remembered to value herself as a human being
Yeah.
and made the change in her life because of Survivor is incredible.
Yeah.
Incredible.
It's something about like just finding like I'm okay in my own right. Like I
Yes.
had never done anything for me either. Like everything she said was
No,
so similar to mine, except that hers
Leslie,
was a relationship and mine was a religion.
hearing
And
her speak about it,
yeah,
I was like, this is Leslie as well. Like
I
to the T. It was weird, like kind of
fitness instructor.
yeah, because I mean, you were so worried about what the people of the religion were going to think. And like she was worried about when she was hugging Tyson. And it's like
Yeah.
what her husband would think. And it's like the same thing, but just two different things.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
That was really cool. And Survivor's awesome.
Yeah, it is. It totally is. I love that we get to do this. And I love that you're listening. Thank you for hanging out with us today and getting to know Debbie with us a
Yeah.
little bit more. And listen, if you've got people on your mind that you're like, you know what, I'd really like to hear from so and so, we will do our best to get these people on. Like I said, some people don't want to be found, and I
Mhm.
fully respect that. I think Amanda might be one of those, and it kind of makes me sad. But if we can get in touch with Amanda, we'll try to get her because we get a lot of requests for her.
Yeah.
And I think if anybody can do it, Todd, we can, because she was
I agree. I
she
mean,
was our like tribe mate.
I love Amanda. I mean,
I know, me
yeah,
too.
we'll find her. We'll get
Yeah.
her.
We'll do our best. Anyway,
We'll find her.
and don't forget, you can get in touch with us. You can leave us a voicemail. We would love to put you on the show. How
Absolutely.
has Survivor impacted your life? And like, what has it done to change maybe your perspective or the trajectory of your life? Like it had, like it did for me and Debbie. We love hearing your stories. You guys are the thing that makes Survivor so special. It is a community, and we want to nurture that just like we do our little community of Survivor China, and she does with Tocantins.
Yes.
So
And to be honest, like Survivor China is like my family, but so are the fans. The
Yeah.
fans, the community. It's my
Mhm.
little Survivor family, and I am just so happy to be a part of it.
Yeah, me too. And if you don't want to leave a voicemail, which by the way, that link is right there in the show notes. But if you don't want to leave a voicemail and you'd rather send us an email, it's beyondthetorch@gmail.com. Send us an email and we can just read it. We don't even have to share your name if you don't want us to, but we love to share a name because I think it's just part of the fun of the community. So it's totally up to you though. Anyway, we will be back next week
Yes.
with another fun little story beyond the torch. Like what's going on with these people? Isn't it fun? Aren't you?
I
having
love it.
fun?
I'm excited. I can't wait for the next.
Yes. Thanks,
It's gonna be
guys.
a
We'll
blast.
see you
Thanks,
next time.
everybody. Have a great day.